Good evening, everybody. Welcome to The Pulse. I'm Keanna Faircloth, host of Afternoon Jazz, and I have the incredible Theo Croker on The Pulse tonight. You just saw his brand new single, Happy Feet for Dancers, and if you weren't dancing to that, I don't know what's wrong with you. Here's Theo Croker right here. Man,
How you
I
doing?
love the energy of that.
Thank you. I do too. It's very positive. You want to get up and move. It's like a childhood bucket list moment, inner child
Yeah,
bucket list moment to make a dance video.
it felt like that. It's funny you say that
It totally is that.
because I'm like, oh, he's a dancer. He got some moves.
Oh, well, of course, of course.
Tell me about, let's start there with Happy Feet. The young lady singing, gorgeous, gorgeous
Oh,
voice.
Malaya. Oh, yes. So I first met Malaya. I actually don't remember where I first heard Malaya, but once I heard her, I reached out to her. I said, "Yo, you're amazing. I would love to, work with you, take you on the road with me." And I ended up taking her to Asia with me for a couple of dates back in 2019. That was actually the last thing I did before the new year. And she wrote lyrics to some of my songs that already existed, some of my melodies, and I
Okay.
was so touched by how she did that. I was like, okay, we're gonna make a new song together. So when I brought her this material, when I was working on this new project, she wrote to it, and the hook went along with some of the things I wrote, and then she wrote her own stuff, and it's beautiful, and her voice is amazing, and I'm so proud of her, Malaya.
Yeah. Where was the video shot?
We shot that video in Palm Springs,
Oh,
California.
oh, in California. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's got that Cali vibe.
Yeah, absolutely it does. But you grew up in Florida?
Yes, I did. I did grow up in Florida, Central Florida.
And so this new album, tell me about how the process of actually producing it, because I think I read somewhere that you started writing it in your hometown.
It it's something that I wrote, during the time that I had off last year, after some time of reflection and not playing music. So it
Hmm.
wasn't it wasn't something that was forced. It wasn't something I needed to do. It wasn't like a project. It more just kind of came to me and then I executed it. And it came to me after many weeks of not doing anything with music, like at all, just listening to it and enjoying it. But that's it, like kind of living a more human life.
Yeah, imagine that.
and that's and that's something I hadn't had the chance to do in about 10, 15 years. So it really about 15 actually. So it let it all catch up to me and let me process it. So when I came back to, dealing with music in a creative way or as a creative outlet, it felt different. It felt more evolved. It felt kind of reborn and more sure, more confident, and more, creative, more serving. So I was like, oh, I want to make some vibes now because I like to share the vibrations with people.
Mm,
So I think, I'm gonna see what music comes to me, and all of this music came to me, and I assembled it all and called the band and went in the studio.
mm. Tell me about the band.
Oh, the band is Eric Wheeler on bass.
All right, my
Um,
HU brother.
that's right, the DC got the best bass players.
Okay.
It's Shaquaga O'Day on the drums from Durham, but he's up in New York City, and Michael King on the piano, a brilliant pianist I've been playing with for a long time, and Eric as well. So it's quite exciting. We do a lot for there only being four people, um, and we move in and out of acoustic and augmented sonic spaces together on
Mm.
this album. It's very exciting.
I mean, and you mentioned it being just this vibration. It feels like
Hmm.
it really does feel like it's something we all needed, like a bomb right now. And it makes sense because of, like you
Right.
said, you got a chance to kind of sit back and actually be a human. to make this music?
Exactly. Just exactly. And that wasn't for the purpose of making music, you know, it was just for the purpose of seeing like who I am to myself, you know, looking at the things that have brought me growth, you know, meditating and communicating with my ancestors, raising my own vibration to a higher level.
Hmm.
So when I came back to a creative output, I had a lot of good vibrations to share. Put it
Absolutely.
on wax.
And you've got all kind of different vibrations happening here on this album with
Mm.
all the, guests, the special guests you have on this
Oh
record.
yes, some good
My
ones.
God.
Well, you know, it wasn't. You know, when I conceived this project, I was hearing voices, telling, you know, speaking a narrative to the story that I was experiencing through the album. So all these voices and lyrics all relate to each other and all relate to the theme of the album, which is really understanding your past so that you can take full action in your present and therefore enjoy your future.
Mm, mm.
So it's a future past, like a Marvel movie.
Yeah. And,
We have a
really,
hero.
uh-huh.
Go ahead.
No, you said you have a hero and
We have the hero. So the trumpet is the hero of the story. He's going through all the battles and the different voices that accompany throughout different parts of the story uh, are the um, are the characters that come in and out of the movie that help the hero
mm,
and challenge the hero and raise up the hero. So that's the whole point of it right there. And just to share vibrations. It's all
yeah,
about it. We like to make music with intention. This is
everyone
very
should.
much so. This is very much so that. This is very much so that. You know, there's a lot of intention with melody. There's a lot of intention with groove. When there's improvisation, there's a lot of intention with it. There's a lot of intention with the ensemble, and there's a lot of intention with the sonic landscape. It's very cinematic when you listen to it.
Mm.
You know, if you shut your eyes, you'll see a movie.
Indeed, you do. You absolutely do. And the thing about it is, it feels like it's something that is tangible to everyone, really. It doesn't feel like, you know, it's jazz or it's pop. It feels like everything for everybody. Was that intentional as well?
It absolutely was intentional to do that, make it very accessible without losing any of its intention. So that was intentional because I just want the music to reach everybody. You know, and there's a lot of, I mean, putting music in classifications such as genres can be quite stifling to the creative aspect of it. You know, I guess it does help in consuming it, but it doesn't necessarily help in the creation of it and support of it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
music is music. I think if you were to put it into any categories, you would put it into entertainment and art. And they're both artistic and creative, but I would separate it that way. So
Mm-hmm.
music with intention and music without intention.
Yeah. Now, we all loved, I love Star People Nation. This album, though, in particular, feels like sort of a continuation of that, but it feels like it's sort of reached a different height, if you will. It feels like you've leveled up even more. So tell me about it. It feels like you have some sort of machine behind you. I know you do, but tell me, about
Do
what
I?
tracks a lot. You do. It feels like this is. It feels different. It feels like I'm about to see this worldwide. Not that I didn't see you
Well,
worldwide before, but it feels
the
very different.
the I would say the energy. You know, this album is there's a lot of energy in it. There's a lot of vibration around it, but that's all intentional. So to say that, what I really mean is like this music has been meditated over, prayed over, blessed throughout the whole process of the creating it to who was involved. People like Gary Bartz, elders like Gary Bartz, um, Wyclef Jean, legends, you know, Ari Lennox, super amazing and creative.
Like
Charlotte Dos
a TV
Santos.
show.
Yeah, right, exactly. Casa overall. All of these people, they're really the fabric of the story. I really feel like Star People Nation was an introduction to a universe. And because of the crunch of normal time, I could only do so much with Star People Nation, and be touring and be recording and be, it's a lot. So with this, I really had the time to have it be exactly what I was hearing in my head. Like
Mm.
this is the director's cut.
Yeah.
Is the final. So, and then a lot of the production was done beforehand. So I brought into the studio a collection, a catalog of music for this project, and it already sounded a certain way,
Hmm.
sonically. So I already had my shot list and my scenes and all of that, and fitting into the overall picture. And then we started to create it organically.
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
And instead of creating it organically and then producing it backwards, we kind of did it from a here. I already have a soundscape. We're gonna play into this soundscape. We're gonna create around this. We're gonna paint with these colors. It
Yeah.
was very cool.
Now, was it an easy ask to get your Gary Bartz and your Wyclef Jeans and Casa overalls? How did,
I don't,
how was that?
none of them were really asked. All of them were really collaborative, creative efforts. So Wyclef was put onto my music, and he reached out to me during 2020, and
Mm.
we bonded creatively. And when I played him what I was working on, he was very into it. And but I didn't have anything for him. It was pretty much complete the way it was. So we created something for him out of some of the sampling, something that already existed. I was like, okay, I'm gonna make you an intro to the one you really like, your favorite track. So I took samples from that track and gave it to Casa overall, who's a great producer. And I said, okay, this project for me it's got to leave my hands to have this extra thing. So he created a great soundscape, and we went back and forth on it. And then at the same time, Wyclef did his part. We did this in like 2 days from different studios, and we put it all together, and that's it. It was very organic. It was very like, this project means this, this song means this. I need you to tell the people this. This is this part of the story, and Wyclef eats that kind of stuff up. Super
Mm.
creative. So let's see. Like Ari Lennox is the same thing. It was an opportunity to hear her voice in a different spectrum, harmonically and sonically and rhythmically. That's not, necessarily the genre
Mm-hmm.
that her music lives in. Or so, genre helps people come with a preconceived idea of what it's going to be. We make vibrations, so it's harder to do that too. But she's very, it was very cool because she was following the melody line that I had, and I was playing trumpet while she was singing in the beginnings of working out the song. But we didn't have lyrics, and I had too much going on to be able to like pull myself into that. So I reached out to somebody named Ego LMA, who's an amazing vocalist in the UK, that I've worked with, and she wrote the lyrics based off of the sessions of her and Ari and I singing that, playing that melody together, and her riffing off of what I was playing to try to lead her into different, non current R&B melodies. And so that really created something different. I allowed somebody to help a sub story, and she did, and that's sent it back, and we recorded it, and it was amazing. And
Mm-hmm.
it was based off of the things we organically created together, and then shared with LMA. So it was like that kind of, that kind of interaction with everybody, which I feel like they're not necessarily asked. They're creative collaborations and ventures
Yeah.
where both parties grow and
Absolutely.
find new ideas and new spaces. for their vibrations.
Mm. I have a question about, you've really been all over the world. Are you based now? I know right now you're on the
Hmm.
East Coast. Are you based
Hmm.
in on the West Coast now?
Yes, also yes.
And before that, you lived in China for how many years?
About 6 or 7, yeah.
How did all
But
of that?
that was a
Yeah,
time ago. That was maybe 7 years ago now.
7 years ago that you lived there.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know how your travels have contributed to you and your artistic experience, from how you carry yourself through life, how you go through your production process, making music, all of that.
Well, traveling is it's a lot of fun because you really get to be present, super present, especially when you're like on tour and every day you're getting up and traveling to a new country with the sole purpose to play a show. It's very like you're able to just focus on the really real moment you're in and you don't feel tied down to anything. It's a very free feeling to have. Um, and then you're creating every day. Like that's the whole point of where you're going. And so that's very cool. Um, I think, other than that, it can be difficult and very educational to travel and jump through different cultures, and still be yourself and still, enjoy yourself and be yourself and have other people enjoy you, as well. So it's you see a lot of the world. Start to understand people as they are, like humanity, how very much alike we are, but in such different ways.
Absolutely. And the whole idea that you carry with you of Sankofa, you just seem so very grounded in that you always are looking back and recognize that you need to do that in order to move forward, like you said, which is really the entire concept of this album and your music in general.
Yeah, and by looking back, it doesn't always just mean the beginning of things. It can be at the somewhere in the middle, what worked and didn't work. It's just really understanding that and flow is cyclic, not linear.
Hmm.
So if you can't see where you're going if you're not looking back, and you can't look back if you don't see where you're going. So
Right.
there's your future past.
In a nutshell, there it is. I want to know about some of your influences. If you look behind me here, you can see
Let's see
I
what it
got
is.
some trumpet players up here
Yep, I
just for
know that
you.
record.
Can you see what
That
they
one
are?
in the middle, I can't tell what that is.
So we got Eddie Henderson
Oh yeah, that's a great
here,
record.
Wallace Roney,
Oh, I
and
love all this running. And
Wynton.
Wynton Marsalis and Ellis. Yeah, that's a beautiful record. Wynton and his father.
Who are some of your influences?
Well, I would say, oh, today I'm gonna say always Doc Cheatham. To me, he's
Of
one of the
course.
greatest trumpet players, and the more I listen to him, the more I hear that and feel that. I
Not
really
just
like
that
Roy.
he's.
Yeah, it wasn't until I was in my, late 20s that I really realized that about him. Because I was so used to hearing him, I didn't hear that thing that everybody was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "Yeah, it's killing," but listen, have you heard so and so and so and so? I just heard him for so long,
Yeah.
but now where I'm at, I hear it and I'm like, "Whoa, it's
Yeah.
pretty cool." Roy Eldridge is another one I like a lot. He's definitely an influence on the trumpet. Um, and then of course all the greats. Miles Davis, Freddie Hubbard, um, um, Roy Hargrove, Nicholas Payton, Wynton Marsalis, like everybody that can play. I also like some of the more creative things outside of like, um, well, people like Bjork. I'm very much inspired by
Yes.
Bjork, but also somebody like a Mad Lib, a
Mm,
producer who just mashes together a lot of different sounds.
yeah.
And man, I like Rashawn Roland Kirk playing three horns at the same time. I like
Mm,
Coltrane Interstellar Space. Like for real, Train Sonic is one of my
yeah.
tracks, you know. And I like Sun Ra. Space is the place. So it's really a lot of things. I think it's so much. I'm just influenced by everything I hear, and it's hard to pin it down to one thing anymore. It's just I want to hear as much as possible, and not get too absorbed with any one thing because I don't want to imitate. I just want to be inspired and create.
Mm-hmm. Where were you? I'm curious because I absolutely adore the album Doc Cheatham with Nicholas Payton. Where were you
Oh, that's a great
when you
one.
made that?
I was in middle school.
Did you get to like go with him into the studio or?
I never been with him in the studio, but I've been to many, many of him playing at Sweet Basil's, many times of him playing a concert someplace, many times like in a performance hall or a jazz festival. I saw a lot of that growing up. Um, so he he was just a very dignified, very like very intentional man from what I
Like
remember.
you.
Very
Kinda like
stoic.
you.
Well, I'm a young man. He's definitely a in his 80s when I was born.
Yeah,
So
but that's, I mean,
um,
it seems like you've adapted a lot of him, it seems, in a lot of different ways.
yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I would have with or without music. He was that, that strong of a character and that beautiful of a human being. From what I knew and everything. And I had hit parents too, so you know, it's you know it's cool. I can't. I don't know what else to say about that.
Well, I wanted to ask you a little bit. Of course, Dee Dee Bridgewater, you
Oh
consider
man,
her to be one of your
the
mentors.
the,
How
the
does she,
Jedi Master.
yes, how does she encourage you to, you know, just level up, really?
Well, I definitely leveled up from being mentored by Didi and working with Didi. She's, yeah, she would be in your ass if you didn't level up. You had to keep leveling up.
Yeah.
So first thing I had to do was I had to really build my strength and endurance as a trumpet player and be able to play 90 minutes with Didi, which is challenging because Didi like a lot of interplay. So it's a lot of time with the trumpet on your face and keeping your air right and everything. So it's a lot of energy. I had to get in shape and get more healthy in my
Yeah.
overall lifestyle. And I was in my late 20s, so I'm glad I did that. Now, so it's also to hear Dee Dee be so creative and original every night and unique and never shy away from finding different sounds or reaching for different notes. Like Dee Dee is not shy. And so in that aspect, it really opened me up and showed me how to be more free and reach for higher and lower things and different guttural to faint sounds. I mean, at some points with Dee Dee, we could be really intense and really loud, and other points it could be like I'm playing the trumpet soft as a whisper
Mm.
while she's whispering. So there's all of those moments exist in her creative palette. It's just it seems to be infinite.
Yeah.
um, and I've never seen her miss a beat, really. Unless it was chasing something creative, and what came after that was prolific. So she also taught us how to be, real professionals and how to be respected when we travel and how to maneuver through all these different regions and cultures of people and, maintain our respect and safety and to keep our business together. I don't think, well, I'm not going to say I don't think. I'm going to give Dee Dee the credit that she so well deserves as a producer and an entrepreneur because she is a great businesswoman along with creative, along with talent,
Hmm.
along with um, entrepreneur in the business. She owns her masters and she tours the world on her own through her own machine and company. So she showed me how to do that, which is what I do now.
Mm.
Inspired, because it's a lot. She showed me how to do that in the Western world.
Right. Right.
Because she saw me doing this in China and was like, "You need to do
Right.
this worldwide, especially with who you are and what you're coming out of." And I said, "Well, I trust you." So that she's really amazing. That's all I
Yeah.
could say.
Wow, that's invaluable, man. And I know you just had a gig with China a little while ago.
Yeah,
He was on the
yeah.
Pulse
China
here.
came
He
out
was talking
and
about
joined
it.
me at the Black Cat in San Francisco
Hmm.
for a weekend run during a 3 week residency that I did. It was fantastic. She's
I'm
amazing.
curious to know, like, how, you know, what similarities do you find in working with Dee Dee and working with their daughter, China Moses?
Musically, they're two totally different people and they're two totally different creatives. Um, um, voice wise, there's some things I can hear, but that's DNA. That's got or in the physical body.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But the similarities I see are in their personalities. As human beings, I can tell that's half Dee
Oh,
Dee.
yeah.
China is half Dee Dee, and they're wonderful. And I've been on tour with both of them together before, many years ago, and that was really cool
Mhm.
and really beautiful to see. So, she's definitely the daughter of Dee Dee Bridgewater, the
All
human
right.
being, and she's China Moses in her own right. So that's a very, wonderful thing to see and hear.
And I love to hear her talk about how, Dee Dee always encouraged her to just be her, be herself. She wasn't trying to get it to
Hmm.
be like her at all. But it's funny because, they do have the similar entrepreneurial spirit, it seems. Like she goes out
Oh
there,
yeah.
does, whatever she says she's going to do, she does it.
I mean, and China Moses is somebody who's very well known on other continents for a lot of things for a long time. So I'm glad America's starting to get hip, um, because she's definitely a creative that everyone should be into and pay and keep on their very close radar.
Indeed. You are watching The Pulse. If you're just tuning in here, I'm talking to the Grammy nominated trumpeter extraordinaire, Theo Croker. Brand new album dropping. When is the release date?
It is September 24th.
It'll be here before you know it. You ready?
I'm
Yeah,
ready. I'm ready. Once we finish in the studio, I'm ready.
absolutely. Black to Life,
Yeah.
Future Past.
Yes.
Got amazing collaborations and visuals to go with it.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Don't forget. Don't sleep on the dance. We get you dancing.
Come on now. I mean, I'm serious. You cannot help but get
They're
up and
not ready. They're not ready.
I don't think the people were ready. I don't think so, but I love it, man. I cannot wait
Thank you.
until this album drops and just all the reception that it's gonna get.
Let's go.
Awesome. Where are you next?
Where am I next? I'm next in I guess in playing somewhere on
In White
the
Plains.
and
White
yes,
Jazz
that's
Festival.
where I am next.
Yeah.
Not a question I can always answer right off the bat. You got me on that. Yeah, I'll be in White Plains next. That's gonna be cool. That's on the 11th of September,
Mhm.
and yeah, I'm sure all the info on that is anywhere where you find info on me. So please come check that out. That'll be very cool. We will perform all the music from the new album.
Mhm. Do you have like a real tour lined up for this, or what's that
Yes,
look like?
we have about a 6 week tour lined up in August. We start on the West Coast, and we roll through the West Coast, and then we go to Europe, and we roll through Europe for a couple weeks, and then that's it. We kind of chill for the rest of the year. But next year we'll be playing in Carnegie Hall, and we'll also be playing in. I believe we'll be. Well, I can't say the other things; they're not announced yet, but that one is.
Okay, awesome. Well,
Yeah, we're
Theo,
looking forward to it. Hope
yeah,
everybody stays well and stays blessed, and everybody keep moving and keep feeling good, keep raising your vibrations. It's the time to do so. We're gonna get through this. Don't stress.
yes, indeed. I got to talk to you about the whole chakra alignment thing.
Oh, I'm always working on. I mean, I'm always working on that. There's plenty of people that know better.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your energy, for,
Thank you for having
really,
me.
absolutely. It's my pleasure. Be sure to get it. Black to Life, a Future Past, coming out on the 23rd,
24th.
24th.
Yep, of
So
September.
Yes,
It's
indeed.
coming up
And I'm sure
soon.
you
Check it out.
can get it everywhere, all digital platforms.
All the digital platforms you can save it on now. You can go there right now and do that. And then the physical, I don't know how people buy physical albums anymore, but wherever you do that, you can do that.
Are
And
you
it
doing
will
the
be on
vinyl?
vinyl.
Are
I'm
you okay?
definitely doing
Great.
a vinyl. Yeah. That comes a little
Awesome.
later. It's a little backed up because of COVID, but I'm sure within the month of the release there'll be vinyl.
Yeah, indeed. And I commend you for, keeping moving and really just getting back to self, using this
Oh yeah.
pandemic to really create a masterpiece. So congratulations on that,
Oh
man.
yes. We did a lot more than that, but we'll leave it there. I appreciate you having me on and talking to me. And y'all keep
Absolutely.
supporting WBGO. They keep it slapping always.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Anytime I'm in the car, they gotta put it on 88.3.
Thank you.
Y'all take care. Stay blessed.
You too. Bye bye. Theo Croker, everybody, make sure you get his album. Comes out September 24th, as he said. Go to theocroker.com and pre-save Black to Life, A Future Past. I'm Keanna Faircloth. Thank you so much for joining me here on The Pulse. Join me next week, Wednesday, September 15th, same time, 8 p.m. I'll be chatting with my DC brother, Mark Carey, right here on The Pulse. Until next time. I'm Keanna Faircloth. See you next time. Good night.